At work, we care about efficiency. And when it comes to learning English, we should care about efficiency too. If you want to learn business English in a way that you can actually use in real situations, fast, then you're going to want to pay close attention to this free training.
Most professionals believe that improving business English takes years. But the truth is, if you use the right method, you can start understanding meetings and speaking more confidently at work in as little as 60 days. And the best part, you don't need 3 hours a day. For many busy professionals, 20 minutes a day is already enough to start seeing real progress. So here's the real question. If improving your workplace English doesn't actually take years, why do so many professionals, even after studying English for 10, 15, even 20 years, still feel anxious the moment they have to use English at work? Let's imagine a scene. It's 10 a.m. on a Monday morning. You're sitting in a global Zoom meeting.
Let's review the Q3 metric.
On the screen, you see executives from the US headquarters, engineers from India, and the marketing director from Europe. Then suddenly, your foreign boss calls on you.
Hey, Jason, what's your take on the Q3 budget allocation?
In that instant, your heart skips a beat. Your brain just freezes. You actually only caught 2 words, Q3 and budget. Everything else, completely blurry. Trying to hide the awkwardness, you force a polite smile, nod your head, and say, "Yes, exactly. I agree." But the moment the meeting ends, you're sweating like crazy. Inside your head, you're screaming, "What did he just ask me? And what exactly did I just agree to? Am I going to get fired?" If you've ever played out this little drama in your head, or even lost sleep the night before an English presentation, well, congratulations, you're in the right place. And if you know exactly how that feels, do me a favor, hit the like button on this video, so I know I'm not the only one. All right.
Welcome to today's free training. I'm Rebecca. In this session, I'm going to show you something important.
Why the way you've been learning English for the past 20 years simply isn't working. And more importantly, I'm going to share a completely different approach, a system I call the 60-day Business English Comeback System. It's designed specifically for busy professionals who want fast, practical, and effective results. Here's what you're going to get today. Ever watch tons of Netflix shows without subtitles, but still can't follow meetings? I'll show you something called the filtered listening method, so you can catch 80% of the important information fast. Even if you really don't understand something, I'll teach you 3 smart, play-dumb questions. You won't look silly. In fact, your boss may actually think you're very clear and thoughtful, and I'll give you ready-to-use sentences you can start memorizing today. Do you ever freeze up during presentations or negotiations? I'll introduce a simple framework used in international companies, the PREP framework, to help you speak clearly and confidently. And finally, I'll give you a practical 60-day improvement plan, just 20 minutes a day. Plus, I'll show you my favorite AI practice tool that helps professionals overcome their fear of speaking English. Now, here's the good news. This system does not require you to memorize thousands of words. You don't need to master complicated grammar, and you definitely don't need a perfect British accent. In the business world, precision beats perfection, every time. This video is designed for busy professionals who care about results and efficiency, and simply don't have the time to start over like a student. My approach challenges traditional learning methods, but it works. And it works extremely well. And to reward those of you who take this seriously and watch until the end, I've prepared something special, a high-value business English survival kit. It includes today's handouts, key sentence templates, and I'll show you exactly how to download it for free at the end of this video. Ready? Let's dive in. Now, today's training is actually very simple. We're going to focus on just 3 powerful ideas. One for listening, one for responding when you don't understand, and one for speaking clearly in meetings. If you master these 3 things, your confidence in English meetings can change completely. So first, let's look at the real reason people freeze up in meetings. Most people think the problem is vocabulary, so they start cramming thousands of TOEIC words. Or they think they just need more practice, so they spend a lot of money on conversation classes. But what usually happens, they end up chatting with the teacher about weekend plans. And honestly, that doesn't help much in a business meeting. So listen carefully. None of that really works in the business world. Business English and everyday English are almost like 2 completely different worlds. Let me ask you something. When people say you should improve your English, what do they usually tell you to do? Memorize more vocabulary? Study more grammar? Watch more Netflix? But the truth is, none of those things actually prepare you for a real business meeting. In business, communication really has only 2 goals. First, clarify the problem. Second, move things forward. That's it. You don't need fancy vocabulary to talk about the weather, but in meetings, you need to express things like budgets, timelines, and responsibilities clearly. Over the years, I've met many managers in international companies. Many of them earn 6-figure salaries. And interestingly, some of them scored under 800 on the TOEIC. They even make grammar mistakes sometimes. For example, you might hear something like, he don't. But here's the interesting part. During negotiations, they completely command the room. So why does that happen? Because they've mastered something much more important: control over communication. Their brains are not translating from Chinese into English. Instead, they're pulling the right response modules automatically. And that is exactly the system we're going to start building next. Now, let's talk about the biggest fear in English meetings. Not speaking, listening. Because if you don't understand the question, you can't even begin to answer. Have you ever been in a meeting where everyone seems to understand the conversation, except you? In those moments, does your brain feel like a slow translator? The client says one sentence, and you start translating it inside your head. You can keep up for the first 3 sentences, but then the 4th sentence contains a word you don't know, and everything stops. And suddenly, the next 20 sentences hit you like a tsunami. Now, here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They try to catch every single word. That's impossible. Native speakers link words. They drop sounds, and they add a lot of extra filler words. So instead of listening like a dictionary, you need to listen like a radar. That means you only focus on 3 key signals in a sentence. Signpost words. Number 1, numbers and data. Budgets, timelines, KPIs. Number 2, action verbs. Who is doing what? And number 3, the most important one, transitions. Because the real conclusion usually comes right after these words. Now, let's try a quick example. Imagine a client says something like this, fast and a bit long. Listen carefully.
Well, looking at the current trajectory, the initial proposal was quite promising. However, due to the recent budget cuts, we need to downsize the project scope by 20% by next Friday.
Now, traditional listeners often get stuck on a word like trajectory. And once they get stuck, they miss the rest of the sentence. But with the filter method, your radar only picks up 3 signals. First, however. Alert, the important part is coming next. Second, need to downsize. That's the action. Something is changing. Third, 20% and next Friday. Those are the numbers and the timeline. And that's all you really need. You don't even need to know what trajectory means. You already understand the core message. The project needs to be downsized by 20% by next Friday. That's efficiency. So remember this simple rule. In meetings, don't chase every word. You only need 3 signals: numbers, actions, and transitions. If you catch these 3 things, you already understand most of the message. Inside the Business English Survival Kit, I've included 30 of the most common action verbs and transition words used in meetings. Once you become familiar with them, your brain starts recognizing them automatically. And that's how listening turns into muscle memory. Pretty useful, right? If this already changes the way you listen to English meetings, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'll keep sharing more straight-to-the-point tips like this on this channel. Now, of course, even with this method, there will still be moments when you miss something. Maybe the accent is too strong. Maybe the internet connection is bad. Maybe the speaker talks too fast. And that's completely normal. However, this is the moment where most people make 2 very costly mistakes. The first mistake is pretending to understand, nodding your head, smiling politely, and saying, "Yes, yes," even though you have no idea what was just said. And later, you realize you've just agreed to something you don't even understand. Not a great situation. The second mistake is panicking and saying something like, "Sorry, what? Can you repeat that?" Now, technically, there's nothing wrong with that, but in a business discussion, it can instantly weaken your presence. So today I'm going to show you 3 advanced response patterns that I call the unbeatable reply techniques. These techniques do 2 things. First, they buy you time to think. Second, they make the other person see you as a careful, detail-oriented professional. Let's look at the first technique. Number 1, focus on the key part. Sometimes you only catch a key word in a long sentence, sometimes the word budget. Instead of asking them to repeat everything, guide the conversation to the part you understood. For example, you could say, "Could you elaborate a bit more on the budget part?" When you ask this, they will naturally explain the budget again, usually in different words, which gives you a second chance to understand the message. Now let's look at technique number 2, paraphrasing. This means you take the pieces you did understand and turn them into a question. You bounce the ball back to them. For example, just to make sure we're on the same page, are you suggesting that we should... And then you insert the words you actually caught. Even if you get it slightly wrong, something interesting happens. They'll usually say, "No, what I meant was..." And then they explain it again, often in simpler language. Now let's look at the third technique, buying time. Sometimes your brain just goes blank. You know that feeling. Instead of saying, use a professional opener. For example, "That's an interesting point. Let me think out loud for a second." Or you could say, "That's a great question. Off the top of my head, I would say..." These types of sentences give you 3 or 4 seconds to reset your brain and regain your rhythm. Now let's do a quick recap. When you don't understand something in a meeting, you have 3 smart options. First, focus on the key part. Second, paraphrase what you did understand. Third, buy a few seconds to think. These 3 techniques alone can save you from a lot of awkward moments. Now let's switch to the other side of communication, speaking. Because here's something many people don't realize. Your boss doesn't expect perfect English, but your boss does expect clear thinking. Now that we've talked about listening, let's move on to speaking. Many people struggle when giving presentations or expressing disagreement in English. And the biggest problem? They don't get to the point. We're used to thinking in Chinese logic. Explain the background first, then give the conclusion. But in the English-speaking business world, this is a big no-no. After 2 minutes, your boss is already thinking, get to the point. So from today on, every time you speak at work, use the PREP framework. This is a professional structure used by consultants in international companies. PREP stands for 4 steps. P, point. Say your main conclusion in the first sentence. R, reason. Give one clear reason in the second sentence. E, example. Provide a concrete example or data. And the last P, point again. Restate your conclusion one more time. Just 4 sentences, and you can explain even complex projects clearly. Now let's compare. Suppose you want to oppose delaying a product launch. First, without structure. I think, because our competitor will launch a new product next month, and if we delay, we might lose market share, so I don't think we should delay. It sounds uncertain and all over the place. Now listen to the same idea using the PREP framework. P, I strongly suggest we keep our original launch date. R, because delaying will cost us our competitive advantage. E, example. For example, our main competitor is launching next month. And if we wait, we might lose 15% of our target market. And finally, P again. Therefore, sticking to the schedule is our best strategy. See the difference? The words are simple. Suggest, delay, cost, schedule. But the structure makes you sound professional and persuasive. Now let's turn this into a quick speaking exercise. Don't just watch this part. Practice it with me. Repeat after me. Ready? First sentence.
I strongly suggest we keep our original launch date.
I strongly suggest we keep our original launch date. Good. Second sentence.
Because delaying will cost us our competitive advantage.
Because delaying will cost us our competitive advantage. Third sentence.
For example, our main competitor is launching next month.
For example, our main competitor is launching next month.
And if we wait, we might lose 15% of our target market.
And if we wait, we might lose 15% of our target market. Last sentence.
Therefore, sticking to the schedule is our best strategy.
Therefore, sticking to the schedule is our best strategy. Nice. That's the PREP framework in action. Just 4 short sentences, and your message becomes clear and persuasive. Make this framework muscle memory and use it in every workplace conversation. Now, let me give you one more bonus tip for speaking business English. Use simple words to build short sentences. This helps you express your ideas quickly and clearly. Some business English channels use very long and complicated sentences. Even I sometimes find them hard to understand. But honestly, repeating those sentences won't help you much at work. Ask yourself one simple question. When you use your native language in meetings or presentations, do you really speak in very complicated sentences? Most of the time, you don't. You usually speak just like in daily life, with a few professional terms added in. So the real skill is this. Learn to say your ideas clearly with short English sentences. Then organize these sentences into your own set of templates. Practice them often. Use them again and again. Over time, they become muscle memory. And when you speak in real English meetings, you'll sound natural, confident, and calm. Actually, let's try a quick shadowing exercise together. This will only take about 20 seconds. Here's how it works. First, just listen. Then repeat after me. If you're watching this alone, say it out loud. Ready? Listen first. Use simple words to build short sentences. Now you try. Use simple words to build short sentences. Good. Next one. Clear ideas don't need complicated English. Now repeat. Clear ideas don't need complicated English. Nice. That's exactly how you should practice speaking. Short sentences, clear ideas. Repeat them enough times and they become muscle memory. Actually, if you pay close attention to the English in this video and repeat after me, you are already practicing how to express ideas with simple sentences. That's because I designed this video using short, clear, easy English on purpose. So, if you have time, you can also use this video as a shadowing practice. It will help you much more than trying to memorize difficult sentences. Now you have 3 powerful tools in your toolkit: the filter method, the play-dumb response technique, and the PREP framework. Next, I'm going to give you a 60-day step-by-step plan. Just 20 minutes a day. And these skills will slowly become muscle memory in your brain. Let's break it down. Days 1 to 20, input phase. Spend 10 minutes a day listening to a business TED Talk or a short CNBC clip. And here's an important rule. No subtitles. Your goal is not to understand everything. Instead, grab a pen, focus on the transition words and action verbs you just learned. This trains your brain to spot key words quickly during real conversations. Days 21 to 40, structure phase. Now we move to the next stage. Spend 10 minutes a day taking a real problem from work. For example, should I work overtime today? Now explain it in English using the 4 PREP sentences. Say your point, then your reason. Give an example and repeat your point again. Record yourself. Then listen back. This builds muscle memory for starting with your conclusion first. Days 41 to 60, output phase. Now we reach the most important stage. You need high-frequency practice, simulated conversations. And at this point, many people start to panic. You might be thinking, where do I find foreigners to have meetings in English? If I talk to a real person, I'll stutter, and I'll feel embarrassed. Exactly. Fear is the biggest obstacle to speaking fluently. And this is where most learners get stuck. They understand the theory, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. And that's exactly why I recommend using the Speak app, because it perfectly solves the problem of not daring to speak. Look at this. Inside Speak, you can create your own business role-play scenario. For example, you can set it up like this. You are a picky U.S. purchasing manager. I'm the supplier. We're negotiating a 10% price increase. Then the AI starts talking to you with voice.
Can you explain why you think this increase is necessary?
And you respond just like in a real meeting. Now, you might be wondering, why is this sometimes even better than practicing with a real person? Let me explain. First, zero pressure. You can speak to the AI, stutter, make grammar mistakes, or even pause for 10 seconds. And guess what? You won't get judged. No eye rolls, no awkward reactions, no sneaky laughs at your accent. You're free to experiment. You can try different sentences, different ideas, different ways of explaining things. and that freedom is incredibly powerful for learning. Second, instant correction. If you say something that sounds a little strange, Speak will immediately show you a suggestion. For example, it might say, "Your sentence is understandable, but it's not formal enough for business communication. Try this pattern instead." So you learn the correction right away. No guessing, no confusion. Just clear improvement. During the last 20 days of your 60-day plan, spend about 10 minutes every night arguing, negotiating, or presenting with your AI client inside Speak. And after 60 days, when you face real foreigners in a meeting, you'll probably feel something like this. "This is nothing. I've already practiced this 100 times with AI." Now, at this point, you might be thinking, "Rebecca, this sounds great, but I'm already so busy at work. When I finally get home, I just want to relax. Can I really stick to this for 60 days? That's exactly why this plan only asks for 20 minutes a day. And honestly, you probably spend more than 20 minutes scrolling through Instagram or TikTok. So the real issue isn't time. It's priority. You might also be thinking, "I'm already in my 30s or my 40s. Is it still possible for me to improve my English?" Remember this. We are not trying to get a perfect TOEFL score. What we're doing instead is installing response modules in your brain. Adults learn differently from children. Adults don't learn English through endless memorization. Adults learn best through logic and structure. And that's exactly why the PREP framework works so well for adult learners. Now, imagine this moment. 2 months from now, you're sitting in another English meeting. Your boss asks a question. But this time, instead of freezing, you calmly give a clear answer. Your ideas are structured, your sentences are simple, and your voice sounds confident. And suddenly, English meetings don't feel scary anymore. So right now, you have 2 choices. Choice number 1, close this video, go back to work tomorrow, and when the meeting switches to English, keep your head down. Stay quiet. Pretend to be busy. Keep letting opportunities pass by. Promotions, overseas assignments, international projects. Let them go to colleagues who might actually be less skilled than you, but simply braver at speaking broken English. And continue living with that quiet anxiety. Or, choice number 2, take action. Start implementing this 60-day system into your daily life. 2 months from now, you'll be the person in the meeting room who can control the conversation with just a few clear PREP sentences. Calm, professional, confident. And if you choose that second path, I've already prepared all the fuel you need to get started. Now, click the link in the description and do 2 simple things that can completely change your game. Step 1. Download my free Business English Survival Kit. Inside it, you'll find the 30 most powerful signpost words, the 3 unbeatable response patterns, and the PREP fill-in-the-blank templates. I've also included the full transcript of this video, so you can follow along, practice speaking, and use it as a shadowing exercise. Just by repeating the sentences in this video, you'll start learning how to express your ideas clearly using short, simple English. And honestly, that's already huge value. Print it out, stick it on your desk, and let it become your daily speaking guide. Step 2, click the link in the description again and start your free trial of the Speak app. Give yourself a chance tonight. Set up a simple business scenario. For example, asking your boss for a raise. Then start your first stress-free English negotiation with the AI. Experience the freedom of speaking English without being afraid to make mistakes, and start practicing right away.
If you found today's free masterclass helpful, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with that colleague who always gets nervous in English meetings. We all know one. Remember this: language should never hide your professional brilliance. It should amplify your value. So go download your Business English Survival Kit. Start your 60-day plan. And I'll see you at the top.